Hello, welcome to the Connecting with Care podcast. My name is Lillie Walker. What does it look like to begin your social work journey with purpose, curiosity, and a heart for service? In this episode, we hear how one Bachelor student is finding her voice, building community, and discovering her call at Baylor's Garland School of Social Work. Join us as I sit down with Giavanna Russo to explore the BSW experience. Hello, my name is Lillie. I'm with Miss G here, and we're going to talk about the Baylor Bachelor Social Work experience and just kind of get an idea of kind of what that experience has been like for you. And so, we'll get right into it. So if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself.
Awesome. My name is Giavanna Russo, but most people call me G. I'm a senior in the Bachelor's of Social Work program. I'm from San Diego, California. That's about it.
Awesome. Cali girl. Love that. Mm-hmm. So now I just want to get into some more questions, getting to know you. So if you had to describe one word about where you're living right now, what would that word be?
I'd call it pretty homey. I've lived with the same girls for 4 years now. Well, 2 of them. We have one new roommate. We're really close. We've kind of made it our own. We just made a sign for our house. But yeah, my roommates are like my sisters, so it's like home away from home.
Okay, and I'm just curious, have you lived on campus?
We did our freshman year, and then we moved off campus. We lived in an apartment for 2 years, and this is the first time we've had a house.
Okay.
So that's fun and exciting.
Awesome.
I'm very adult.
Yeah. Next question is, what is your go-to drink order at your favorite local coffee shop or just tea place?
My basic is usually like a vanilla latte, but I try every seasonal flavor ever. So I will probably get like whatever that coffee shop specializes in. I rediscovered Be Kind recently. Okay. And they have a buttercup latte, I think is what it's called. It's like chocolate and peanut butter. And it's so good. Oh, and it's not too sweet. It's very good.
That sounds awesome.
Highly recommend
it.
Yeah.
And then finally, what would you say is your favorite Baylor University tradition?
It's definitely sing in pigskin. I'm a member of Baylor Student Productions Committee. Oh. This is a student organization on campus, and we produce those 2 shows as well as 2 other Baylor traditions called After Dark, which is the family weekend variety show, and Stomp Fest. So I'm in this week actually because it's homecoming. I'm in my hall with the rest of Supro like every night, working away, getting everyone ready, managing the organizations, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, could you explain that just a little bit more? I got my undergrad somewhere else, so I actually have really not a good idea.
Yes, so seeing the way, I'm also a Baylor tour guide, so the way that I explain it on tours and the way that Supro would explain it is they're 2 different things. But on tours, I say it's the largest off-Broadway collegiate production in the nation, which is true, but the way Supro would describe it is like a student organization musical competition, I guess. So we usually have about 20 acts in the spring, which is insane.
Wow.
Which each act is an organization, and they're all Greek organizations except for one, Sing Alliance, which is a non-affiliated student organization. They put on 7-minute musical skits, I guess what you'd call it. There's no dialogue. It's all music and choreography, and there's a theme, and the theme is kept secret all year up until the opening night, which sometimes that leaks, but not because of us. And each act gets a designated student producer. So me or any of my peers in student productions, we get multiple acts usually to produce, and we kind of help them bring their act to life. So the organizations, they write it, they choreograph it, they create the theme, they build the set, the backdrop, all of it, and just help them bring it to the Wake Hall.
Yeah, and I just want to say for the listeners, this is like a super big event, and
it sells out immediately.
I had some undergrad friends that were like super stressing about getting tickets in a way that I've never seen for like an on-campus sort of event. Yeah. So this is
perk of putting it on is I get a ticket. Like we have a block of tickets just for us. I don't have to join the queue.
I do it. Yeah, of course. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, and love to get to know you. So now we're going to kind of get into your personal journey that brought you to social work, brought you to Baylor. So what would you say that is? What's your reasoning for ending up at Baylor and then also majoring in social work?
Well, Baylor, I really didn't plan on at all. Okay. I went to a high school that really wanted us to apply to a lot of four-year universities. They were really pushing the four-year universities, whether or not you think that's good or bad, to each their own. But I ended up applying to 12 schools, which is a lot. It was a lot for me.
That is a lot. No, that really is. Applications are so cumbersome.
Yes. And Baylor was a free app, and I had a friend who was committed to play soccer here. And so it just got added, and I didn't really do any research on it. I did not know it was religious. I did not really know where in Texas it was. I originally was thinking about studying psychology, which you can kind of do anywhere. And so it just got added to my list. And then, long story short, I did not get into the school that I thought was my dream school. So I just started touring, and I fell in love with Baylor's campus while I was here. I met one of my roommates, who I still live with, on tour. Which is crazy. We ended up living
together.
Friends
from day one. That's crazy.
And she really is like my sister. It's crazy to think about. And she wants to get her master's at Baylor, and long story short, so do I. And so we're going to get to live together a fifth year. But anyways, it was really, again, when I say on tour, is that the Lord shut the other doors that I would open this window. And I've loved it. Baylor has felt like home since my tour. So I'm really glad that I'm here.
Oh, that's great. And then what would you say about social work specifically?
I ended up in social work also kind of randomly. I had a teacher in high school, a history teacher. Shout out to Miss Devereaux, that is her name. She asked me if I'd ever considered it because my reasons for going into psych were I've always known I wanted to work with kids. I come from a big Italian family. I've been babysitting since I could walk and talk. I started nannying as soon as I could drive. So I knew I wanted to work with kids, and I wanted to do something in some sort of helping profession. And so I was thinking counselor in schools and hospitals, something in that capacity. And she was like, well, have you ever thought about social work? And I was like, honestly, I don't even know beyond CPS, in movies, what most people think of social work, what that is.
Sure.
So I ended up taking Professor Carrie Fisher's Intro to Social Work class. It was awesome. She was bringing in panels of grad students and practitioners, and they were explaining what they were doing. And I was like, wow, I can do so much with this that I didn't even realize. And so I switched, I think, either my second semester freshman year or first semester sophomore. It didn't take me long. And as soon as I was in social work classes, I was like, oh, this is what people mean when they say vocation. I was just loving it. Yeah. So it's been a really cool journey of discovery, I guess, of what the field actually is.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And then kind of building off that, like you said, it's kind of been the self-discovery and you're learning so many things. I personally learned so many things about just environment and society and stuff that I hadn't even realized. How would you say you've grown professionally and also personally during your time here?
I think that the biggest way that I've grown is getting comfortable with struggling. This is the first time, especially as a senior, being in my practicum internship. This is the first time that I've enjoyed what I'm doing and still found it really difficult. Because I feel most of the time, most people, you're oh, I'm not good at this. I don't like it. But I still really found classes about, federal policy interesting. And my practicum work really interesting, but also really challenging. And so I think I've gotten a lot more comfortable struggling for a bit and sitting in a space where I'm bad at something.
Yeah, and that's such a delicate balance, but it's also I feel that's a testament to you're where you're supposed to be. You're being pushed and it's challenging, but you're also loving it and able to grow in that. So that's that's really sweet. Such a sweet balance. So next question is, how has your time here shaped the way you see yourself and your career as a future social worker?
Okay, so I've always kind of thought, like I said, I wanted to work with kids. And so then once I got into more social work classes, and I was like, okay, what kind of things do I want to do clinical, do I want to community? Kind of decided early on, okay, clinical practice, medical realm is what I find most interesting. And the further I get into my classes, the more that idea is challenged, because I've just always been a planner. Okay, I know what I'm going to be doing 5 years from now. And this program has definitely taught me to let go of that. And I think I had this idea just from like growing up that like your career is what you do forever. Like everyone works a job for like 20, 30, 40 years and then they retire.
Yeah.
And the more people I meet in the field of social work, the more I realize that that's not the case and that I can go do something for 5 years and decide to do something else and work in different areas of social work in general. And so I think that's just like opened up my perspective on what my career can look like.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And it's something I've kind of realized from our professors too, is like you see a lot of them that have actual practitioner experience. And then they'll talk about their role as in higher education as a social worker. Then they'll talk about their role in, I don't know, you name it, whatever field it could be. And just seeing how social work kind of dips in so many different categories, and that by getting this degree, you're not really like confining yourself to one area.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a really good point. So next question is, how would you describe Baylor's social work community? Like your classmates, your professors, administrators?
I would call it tight-knit. My cohort is actually, we're pretty unusually small. There's 14 of us.
Oh, that is...
So, yes, the senior undergraduates right now, there's 14 of us. We have all our social work classes together, and we have since the beginning of our junior year. So we, like, have a group chat. We, like, talk about everything, and I think that has been something invaluable to me. We're also close. There are a group of people that I can bring good and bad news to, which I think is awesome and hard to find. It's really easy to find people that want to complain, and it's really easy to find people that just want to celebrate and can't stick with you through the hard times. So the fact that like we've got both is awesome. And also like the professors in this school are just like beyond kind. I haven't met a single professor that wasn't willing to be like flexible with the student who needed it, or change something that wasn't working. And I've just found that even though the 14 of us have had all our classes together, we are all extremely different, and we all need different things and like different levels of encouragement and instruction, and you know, you name it. And every single professor has been able to meet each of us where we're at. So it's such like a strength of being such a small program, is that like I feel like I'm getting bang for my buck here at Baylor. Like I'm getting the most out of this undergraduate program. It's insane.
Yeah, totally. And I can speak to the master's program. All of the class sizes are pretty small. I think in my cohort there's about 35 right now, but most of the time the classes are split. And so even that, like the class sizes are so small, and you get so much access to the professors, and they have so much wisdom to share. So yeah, that's really great. All right, so now we're going to kind of get into more like practical, what does being an undergrad at Baylor and majoring in social work look like? So how would you describe a typical week for you in this program?
Busy, which is like partly because of the program and partly because I personally am just a busybody.
Sure.
I have like an on-campus job and classes, and I'm in an internship, and then I am involved in clubs. So just the program, like aside from the other stuff I do, right now we've got classes Monday, Wednesday in the afternoon only, and then most of us are in our internship Tuesday, Thursday. So it's pretty busy. Honestly, this is the year that I've had the least homework, which is kind of nice because we are working for class, like we're in our internship,
Sure.
15 plus hours a week, working in like some area of social work. So it's nice to have a little bit less work at the end of the day. But it's not non-existent. I don't know. I keep pretty busy, I guess.
Totally. Yeah. And can you just say a little bit about your practicum site currently?
Yes, I'm currently placed at Baylor Scott and White Hillcrest in the mother and baby unit, which is really cool. It's a mainly shadow role just because working in the hospital, there's a lot of things legally that like you have to do a specific way. So I work under a case manager in mother and baby, and so we see patients across the NICU, pediatric ward, and then labor and delivery and postpartum. So anyone who's coming through, giving birth, any kids that are there, we see mostly doing like psychosocial assessments and providing resources.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm also at Baylor Scott and White Hillcrest, but I'm in the emergency department in the night shift. Kind of some of what we do like overlaps a little bit, or it looks a little bit different. But yeah, I just think that's good for the pod to know kind of what you do. And so how many hours per week is that for undergrad?
We're supposed to get 15. I end up getting somewhere between 16 and 18, depending on whether or not I get to take a lunch. Because usually we have huddles over lunch, and so I eat during the meeting. But yeah, I work there Tuesday, Thursday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay.
And then is it your senior year is when you start a practicum, or is it throughout your undergrad?
It's just senior year.
Just your senior year. So you've been getting coursework, your freshman, some like more gen ed freshman year, sophomore, a little bit more, and then junior year, all social work classes, and now you're...
Yes, yeah. Okay. So my freshman year, I was pretty much in mostly gen ed classes. I took my intro to social work, and that was the only social work class I took that year. And then sophomore year, I think I took a couple lower level, like a human diversity and identity class, and maybe like an intro to gerontology, like an elective. And then junior year, you kind of jump in. That's when you transition from main campus over here to the Garland School in downtown Waco. And you're like fully in social work classes almost solely. Yeah.
And then senior year, you're in only social work courses and also add in that practicum piece.
Yes, exactly.
Great. Okay, and so how would you say you balance your coursework and your life outside of school?
I live off of my Google Calendar, as many college students probably do. And I try, outside of like weird exceptions like this week with it being homecoming and like me being part of the production team for Pigskin, I tried to limit any commitments after 5 p.m. during the week and at all during the weekend. The only consistent thing I do on the weekend is go to church. Other than that, I keep it pretty free so that, like, if fun things come up, I can do that. I can relax. I can nap. And then at 5 p.m., I whether or not I'm at internship or I'm at class or I'm at my job, I never am any of those places later than 5 p.m. So that's just my cutoff so I can like go home, and I like to cook. So I like get to make dinner. I don't have to meal prep lunch and dinner and hang out with my roommates and my friends. And like, so yeah, I have pretty strict boundaries for when I will and will not commit myself to things.
And setting boundaries on your time is so important. I think that's so great that you say that of like, yeah, it's important that I get my work done. It's important I get my schoolwork done, but also setting aside that time to relax and do the things that are going to make me be able to show up in the NICU and be present is also super, super important.
Yeah.
So I know we talked a little bit how you kind of just have always known you wanted to be in the helping profession, but I was wondering if there were any other like deciding factors that helped you decide to go into social work.
Yeah, I guess I like really realized that it could be a career when I started watching kids that were not my family members. Like when I switched from babysitting like my cousins and cousin kids to nannying full time for a family, I started realizing how rewarding it was to like become like a safe space for somebody else. Like I worked for one family in Waco. They had twin boys. Like, I was just like in love with them. They were the cutest things ever, these twin toddlers, but they were really attached to their parents. So I worked with them for about 1.5 years, and for the first probably 3 to 4 months, every time I picked them up, they would cry because they didn't want to leave their mom. And I was like, I'm really trying not to take this too personally. But like, when is this going to stop? And like, we would drive away from their house, and I would usually take them like to the Mayborn or to Cameron Park or whatever. Like, we always had fun as soon as they left their mom.
Right.
It was just that like initial transition that was so hard until like one day I picked them up and they were happy to see me. I was
they finally got comfortable.
I've made it. And it was just like so awesome. And then like getting to watch them like learn to walk, learn to talk, like hit milestones was so cool. And I was like, okay, how do I like get this feeling somewhere else? And so I was also in that intro to social work course at like, I guess the semester before I was working for this family. And so I was just kind of like thinking about what I was hearing from practitioners and how they were feeling like building rapport with clients and all the different spaces they were able to work in. And I was like, okay, like that's going to be it. So
yeah, and building rapport with clients is such an important piece, and it's something that can be like overlooked. Like, yeah, obviously you need to build a relationship with them, but that is like so important, and it takes time. It's not something that you just walk in and you're just able to build rapport so that you can get actual work, like social work, specific work done with a client.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really awesome. So to close up here, I was just wondering if you had any super awesome advice that you would give to a potential Baylor Bear that is looking into the social work program.
What I say to students considering Baylor is to trust your gut and go where feels like home, which is like extremely cheesy, but everyone that I've talked to, and myself included, like that's how it's worked, because all the reasons that like Baylor and social work have felt right to me kind of boil down to like it just feels like home. It feels like this is where I belong, this is what I should be doing. And so being able to kind of block out our thoughts that challenge our instincts, like, but none of my friends from home are going here, but I might not make the most money in social work, like all of those things that are more outside and external pressures that like really aren't gonna matter in the future, like when you're looking for something that's going to fulfill you in life, like when you're looking for a career that you're passionate about, and a university that's going to support you in finding that, those outside things just really don't matter, and so it's hard to let them go, but you should. And all of those reasons that Baylor has felt like home, and like the community I've built here have made my successes so much more special and so much more rewarding. So anyone who's considering Baylor, considering social work, like I always say, trust your gut, because like your instincts really do mean something. And sometimes that, is you, and sometimes it's the Lord pushing you, and like we just really don't know. So yeah, that's what I would say, is trust yourself.
Yeah, and it sounds like you've made great friends to share it with, like people that you've lived with for the past 4 years. Those are relationships that you'll always have. So. And last question is, what has surprised you the most throughout your journey here?
Something that surprised me the most in this program is that I haven't gotten to a single point where I felt like, oh, my learning has plateaued. I've got nothing left to do here. I feel like every day, especially now that we're in our practicum internship, I walk into something new and I leave with something I'm like, well, I've never seen that before. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's really cool. I feel like in the past, like that was probably how I knew that like social work was really for me, and because I found it so interesting. Like I'd get to points in other classes where I'm like, well, I'm kind of bored. Like this is not, I've got nothing left that I'm curious about here. And like I've yet to have that in social work, and I'm only a couple years in, but like I hope that continues, and that like I keep finding new things to be like fascinated by and like passionate about and work towards. Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks so much for chatting. I hope this I hope your story is helpful to future Baylor social work majors, and thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been really cool.
Ready to imagine your own path into social work? Giavanna's story reminds us that growth happens when community and calling meet. Join us next time as we continue sharing the stories shaping the future of social work.